evidence of what we know and what we don't know about global warming. So it's an ongoing debate. So you all know that there are people that say climate change is a whole myth because global warming leads to the impacts of climate changes. So some of the things that we can see, for example, droughts. You'll notice last year rainy season wasn't as rainy as we expected it to be. We had a lot of long periods of dry and lack of rainfall. So there's this ongoing debate where some scientists saying this is a natural process, and yes, there is the increase in greenhouse gas emission, but they believe that the increase of heat is very small, whereas there are other people that are debating that know that it is increasing, in fact, at a rate beyond which humans can actually cope with, right? And because of that, the UN and leaders of the world, they came together and they formed this convention, which is called the Conference of Parties. So the Conference of Parties is held every year, and the leaders of the world come together because they are signing on or trying to agree, right? Leaders are trying to agree what are some acceptable limits of greenhouse gas emissions in terms of the increasing heat that we want to allow. So different countries were in dialogue, and more developed countries are always the ones that are dominant, and they, of course, still want to continue with their normal practices and industrialization. However, it is the small island developing states. So you all know Trinidad and Tobago, we are an island. We are considered a small island developing state. Most of the all of the South Pacific countries as well, they actually express their concerns that their islands are already disappearing. And if that disappears, it means that you are wiping out entire populations, are being displaced. And imagine you don't have an identity. It's like Trinidad began to sink, and then we are no longer Trinidadians. We go to another country, let's go say we go to Guyana, right? What will be our identity? It's like we lose our identity because a country is made up of its population, the people, right? So if we don't have a landmass to live on, then we lose our identity. So the world leaders, right, they signed on to this, what is called a Paris Agreement, and they agreed that we are going to try to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in different sectors. Trinidad and Tobago, we signed on to 3. One, transport use. I think the other one was domestic use, and I think industry, right? So with one of the things that the government did, you all remember when they started giving out these energy saving bulbs, right? So that was one of the things that they did to sort of help. Another thing that they did was giving tax breaks on electric and CNG vehicles. So you all know those newer hybrid vehicles, so people would get concessions made on them, right? So those are some of the things. So what we have here, the debate, you'll see carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases help to warm the atmosphere. So we know that is a fact. Yeah, that is not a myth. Carbon dioxide is in the atmosphere has increased, and so has greenhouse gases. We have seen that from the period, remember I was telling you, from hunting and gathering days to present day, it has increased. World temperatures has increased around 0.6 during the 20th century, and there were climate changes before human cutting down forests, burning forests, and fossil fuels such as coal and natural gas. So that is why they're saying, hey, this should not be for a concern because climate was already changing. The fact is, the rate at which climate changing is too drastic. Do you all understand now?
Yes.
Right? So, scientists are looking for clear evidence, and you'll see we do not have all of the answers, right? Are there other causes of climate change operating at present that we don't know about? If carbon dioxide continues to increase, how will it affect the world climate? Well, we are seeing what is happening. What will be done to reduce the risk of climate change? So, y'all, like, this is my favorite part.